Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today, I'm looking at Disaster from The Next Generation's 5th season, or as I like to call it, that time Worf was a midwife. This episode was requested by the Radical 42 and Andrew Blanchard. Sorry, I feel like this one has been kicking around the schedule for years too, and it sounds a fun one, so let's get going. We begin the episode with the crew having a chill and discussing baby names with Keiko, who's due in a month, while Beverly bugs Geordi until he agrees to sing, and Troi dumps 3 children on Picard, who won a competition to get a tour.
I'm not sure who to feel sorry for, the captain or the kids.
In the turbo lift, Picard makes small talk with the children. It's really awkward, and this girl is shy, so have a titular disaster, which rocks the whole ship, and this lady takes charge, doing a good job, until she gets blown up. And into the credits we go. Troi and O'Brien try to get hold of anyone, with no success, and this guy tries the door, before they discover Monroe did not survive. While in the turbo lift, an injured Picard has to deal with 3 crying, whining children. Kids, am I right? O'Brien tries to get a distress call off as Ro gets in and they tell her they were hit by a quantum filament, while she tells them that emergency bulkheads have closed, which have trapped them in. This guy detects survivors but can't tell if Keiko made it or not, and while the saucer section has people in it, the drive section is showing as empty, and Troi's powers are vague and unhelpful as per usual. With Monroe dead, Troi is now in command, so she immediately asks for help from the others. While in 10 forward, Riker checks on Keiko before making a plan with Data to get to engineering through Jeffrey's tubes, leaving Worf behind to tend to any injured who can't reach sickbay. Geordi and Beverly discover they are stuck before a plasma fire breaks out, kicking out loads of radiation, which will blow up the cargo they're standing next to. Unable to stand up or put up with this kid's complaining, Picard gives 2 of his pips to Marissa, making her first officer, 1 to Jay Gordon to make him a science officer, and to shut him up, and 1 to this kid, making him head of radishes. While Data science-splains to Riker, but no time for that. Cheese it! Ooh, staticky! Beverly and Geordi move their scream canisters about, while Ro gets the engineering station up and running with a risky move that O'Brien tells her off for, and Troi looks like a deer in the headlights. Ro and O'Brien techno-babble at her, which roughly translates to ship broken, fix ship, or ship go boom. She still looks confused. With electricity blocking their path, Data suggests using his body to soak up the charge, but Riker says it's far too dangerous. However, Data says just to yank his head off and take it for a walk, leaving his body behind.
You want me to take off your head?
Yes, sir.
Data walks into the charge and then planks because his body is fried, but feel free to yoink his head, and Picard shoves Jay What's-His-Face onto the roof of the turbo lift, which he says looks broken, so Picard tells Marissa to get herself and the other 2 to safety, but they refuse to leave him. Meanwhile, Geordi and Beverly come up with a dumb plan to depressurize the bay to put the fire out with them still inside, and Keiko and Worf tend to the injured right before she goes into labor.
You cannot. This is not a good time, Keiko.
Ro and O'Brien continue to confuse Deanna with technobabble. Remember, fix ship or ship go boom. And Ro suggests dumping the drive section and anyone in it to save the saucer section. But O'Brien thinks it's cold-blooded, and Troi wants power transfer to engineering just in case anyone is still alive down there. Ro bitch pleases her, and Troi looks like she's gonna be sick. And as Picard and the children try to climb up, the lift drops, scaring the shit out of this kid. So Picard sings to them as they keep climbing, trying to find a way out. As Keiko has contractions, she discovers that Worf has no experience with human birth outside of a simulation.
I'm sure everything will be fine.
Oh god, are you 2 still planning on this dipshit idea? Oh, yep, they are. There everything goes, except for this panel. And they somehow survive this nonsense. An alarm goes off on the bridge, making Ro cranky, and she has a sat-off with Troi. Hey Data, how's your head? Anyway, with him hooked up to the system, he's able to stabilize the containment field, which the bridge notices, and Ro apologizes to Troi. She's cool about it. Picard finally finds a way out of the turbo lift shaft and helps the kids to safety. So have a hug. While Worf is annoyed by how inefficiently Keiko is giving birth, but she is not in the mood to be critiqued.
I am pushing!
Aw, it's an ickle baby girl. And Keiko is delighted. With everything back to normal, Troi takes the kids to the bridge where they present Picard with a plaque and he promises to finish the tour. Okay, so this episode is full of cliches. Someone out of their element being forced to lead, with someone else challenging their decisions, a grumpy or usually stern person being stuck looking after a child or children, people pulling off a crazy stunt that should have killed them but didn't in order to survive, someone sacrificing their safety to bypass a hazard for the sake of the group, and someone giving birth under difficult circumstances being helped by someone unlikely. It was all just a big ball of cliches, and yet somehow it worked and was an enjoyable episode. I still stand by Geordi and Beverly section being dumb. Surely there was a better way of dealing with a small fire, but whatever. They were both on board with the plan. It is what it is. Riker and Data's section was also a little strange. The solution to getting around a small obstacle was to potentially irreparably damage Data's body and plug his head into the computer to save the day, but I guess what it did do was highlight Data as what he is, an artificial machine. Something that comes up in a big way from time to time. I loved Picard's section. Yes, that one kid Jay Gordon was really freaking annoying and almost derailed the story. But other than that, Picard's handling of the situation was sweet and very on brand for him, doing what he knows and implementing a chain of command to solve the problem. Giving his pips to the children and assigning them roles was very Captain Picard of him, while singing to keep them calm was very human of him. And even the detail that wasn't mentioned but was shown, of all of them being tied together, was a nice caring touch, as well as his new first officer being not willing to leave him behind. It made them a very tight-knit, albeit temporary crew. My favourite section was Worf and Keiko because Worf's personality in any uncomfortable situation is a welcome bit of comic relief. And not only was his frustration at Keiko's birth being untimely and inconvenient very funny to me, it also makes me wonder how it affects the two's relationship going forward, and Worf's connection to Molly. I can't say I've noticed in this or Deep Space Nine, but I'll certainly be looking out for it from now on. Finally, we need to look at Troi's story, and while I don't really like her character that much, and she spent the whole time looking confused, it was a good look at making decisions with your heart and not your head, which is what Ro was trying to do. Ro wanted to cut everyone loose from pretty much the start, and I agree with Troi, give it some time. But then it got to the point where they were all going to blow up, and she was still holding on to the hope that there was someone alive to fix the problem, even though she was seconds away from losing everyone. So it begs the question, at what point does the heart and head meet in a good captain? Either way, maybe don't leave Ro or Troi in charge long term. So there you have it. That was Disaster. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.